and gentlemen, and welcome back to Forge of Champions. My name is JK Matthews. I'm joined by Chronicler. I'm joined by Orcs, and we're kicking it off with relegations, baby. As one new team will be welcomed here into the UKLC. What's up?
Promotions.
And
There's
promotions.
and relegations.
Promotions.
Yeah.
Oh.
Well, like I said, one new team will be joining us here in the UKLC in the next split, and we are guaranteed one of our UKLC teams, either Darksport or Bulldog, to be leaving us today. So, really exciting stuff, really, when we think about all of yesterday's games and what is on the line here.
Yeah, there's a lot. I mean, yesterday it was important games, but it was halfway there. This day we will see one team go the full distance into the UKLC, one team get knocked out. And that's the crazy thing, that we've had Bulldog and Darksport in our inaugural split, and we will be saying goodbye to one of them.
And I think the big story, like you said, it's that one of the open teams is guaranteed to make it, because don't be mistaken, even though they lost the first game, we talked in depth about this yesterday, you only need to win 2 games. Be in any order, you can lose, then win-win. But you got to get those 2 wins, and either Nvision or EJBY Brotherhood are going to join the rest of the UKLC, and we're going to lose one of our UKLC teams, which is still crazy to me.
I mean, it's crazy. It's exciting, though, when you do think about it. I mean, watching the games yesterday, both of the open teams went 2-0 over the UKLC teams as well. So, I mean, it wasn't like it was even just like slightly back and forth. They dominated their games.
Yeah, and I think the pressure really got to them, because I don't think that is the best gameplay we've seen from either Bulldogs or Darkspawn. And it shows that there's a lot at stake, there's a lot of pressure on these teams, which is amplified more today. I feel like the open teams is a bit less, because they will have that second chance if they lose that game. But for these teams who are in the UKLC, for Darkspawn and Bulldogs, if they lose, they're gone.
Well, let's bring up the bracket and see how everything was shaping out coming from yesterday's games as well. If you do look, like I said, Darkspawn went 0-2 to EJBY Brotherhood. You had Nvision getting himself a 2-0 over Bulldog as well. So as we look towards our upper finals between EJBY Brotherhood and Nvision, one of these teams is guaranteed a spot at the UKLC, but the loser of this game actually is still in with a chance of making it to UKLC. So is a chance we have 2 new teams joining us in the next season, because if we look towards that lower bracket, Bulldog and Darkspawn have to play each other later on today. And the loser of that, they're donezo, they're gone. But the winner, they have one last chance to remain in tomorrow's best of 3 between the loser of today's first game and the winner of today's second game.
Yeah, I'm actually kind of glad that we only have that one series tomorrow, because that's probably going to be the craziest of all. Because one team will go home, one team will be in the league. That is the most intense
That's all or nothing.
Yeah,
like.
Absolutely.
Well, have a little look at the schedule and see what games are coming up when. You can get a rough idea of what's happening, as starting off with EJBY Brotherhood versus Nvision in a best of 3. We're playing on 9.9, like we've been playing on all week long. And then after that, Bulldog versus Darkspawn. And then tomorrow, it is that lower bracket final between the winner of Game 1 and the loser of Game 2. Now, gents, before we go a little bit further, who are we expecting to make it? Who do you think is going to be our first team into the UKLC?
I think the favourites have to be EJBY Brotherhood. They had a really solid performance coming out of the play-ins. They were the first seed, and yesterday, I mean, Darkspawn had a bit of life in Game 2, but for the most part, that was more from E9's mistakes, because they got a bit overconfident. And I mean,
A bit.
Why not?
They got really overconfident, but when you look at these 2 teams, I got to go with you with E9 as well, because E9 looked like a team that had multiple win conditions. We saw Vixen play really well on the RE, so that's kind of something that you want to ban, because he looks really comfortable. And then you've done Voxney and Shazian, both of which have been playing amazing. You have Lean in the top lane, who is a highly mechanical player, kind of want to bend the rhythm away there as well. And Psyche had a great job, whereas Nvision, I felt like they played a more reactive style, in which they played Azir and Vladimir both of the 2 games. Just take their time, wait to skill up, and I don't think that the Brotherhood is going to give you that opportunity.
And we saw the bot lane of Brotherhood, then Voxney and Shazian, they went in level 1
it was
burning
Vayne.
summoners. Yeah, on Vayne Thresh, going in at level 1, trying to burn as many summoners as they could. That is not giving you time to scale, which is how Nvision have been playing. So I think it's going to be a bit tricky if that's their game plan today.
Well, if you guys want to get involved in the conversation and let us know who you think is going to make it into the UKLC, do head over to our Twitter at LVPUK, use that hashtag Forge of Champions, and let us know who you think are going to be our final 2 teams coming into the summer split of the UKLC. And if you're not sure, you don't know what these teams look like on kind of paper, and you haven't seen them play, head over to the YouTube channel, LVPUK. You can watch back all of our old VODs, including Forge of Champions, the UKLC, the original Forge of Champions as well. Get a taste of the UK action. So we'll be heading into picks and bans for our first game of the day. This is such a big series. I mean, this series is so big. we have Nvision and we have E9, and one of these teams is going to make it to the UKLC.
Yeah, I mean, they're both so close. And I think the crazy thing is that E9 Brotherhood, they don't have an org representing them. They are just 5 players who thought we are a good match together. Let's try play, see how far they go. And a lot of people have pegged them as not being the strongest team that were coming in. We thought that Hybrid would be the team to beat. And they knocked Hybrid out. They weren't the team to actually deliver the final blow, but with an early, and late invade, it set Hybrid just completely off pace, and they ended up falling out of the tournament. And so I think now the favorites have to be Brotherhood. But what a performance from a team without an org. But in credit, Nvision have been really solid on their own.
Yeah, and like I said, I think that if you're going to look at these, I think that if we see the same game plan that we saw yesterday from Nvision, where they go for, just going to take it slow, we're going to scale up, pick up the Zara Rakan that they've been a huge fan of, and we saw yesterday as well that they can use that to great efficiency. If they can get all those sets in, or all those pieces in place, and then for some reason we don't see E9 Brotherhood play aggressive, I think they're going to do fine, because their late game was really impressive to me, where they were able to consistently find team fights even though they were really far behind. Like I said, E9 yesterday, since minute 1 they were aggressive. I think the only thing that is, if they get ahead, we saw yesterday some pathing errors, over-aggressive plays, but then also you see what you think is an over-aggressive play with Dan Voxney off on his own in the side lane, and a 2-man gang squad comes to him and he just 1v2s them.
Yeah, well,
that's spooky.
We're into picks and bans. Nvision will be starting up on that blue side. E9 Brotherhood on that red side. It's a Caitlyn. It's going to be the first ban here from Nvision. What do we expect to see here in the picks and bans, Orcs?
Well, I think bans, there's a lot of things on the cards that were difficult. Infinity on the Karthus was really effective. I think over the side of Brotherhood. Actually, no, it wasn't Infinity on the Karthus. It was Psyche on the Karthus. Sorry. Infinity had a lot of success on things like the Kha'Zix. So I like the Hecarim ban, getting rid of those early junglers. But it's quite difficult for Nvision because there's so many powerful picks in this meta. But they're forced to ban these pocket picks. The Caitlyn and the Riven aren't traditional bans. They are directed particularly at Demvoxne and Lina, because they are scared of them getting their signature champions, whereas E9 Brotherhood have gone for more of a traditional, we're just going to ban what's strong.
I mean, watching Nvision yesterday, especially in game 1, you have to look at the things like what UK Mildale might be able to get his hands on, because if he can get his hands on something like the Rakan again, like a big engager, he just set that team up for success. Because remember, they were even in a bad position coming into the later stages of that game 1. But now we take a look at what has been taken away. Like you said, the Caitlyn, the Riven, the Vayne's taken away. But when you look at E9, there's an Aurelia, a Hecarim, and a Vladimir banned away. So what does this leave open for these teams?
Ryze, well, the Karthus is there. And it was Psyche's pick yesterday, but it's been denied and taken by, we assume, Infinity. But there's still the Akali available. There's still things like the Ryze. The Zyra Khan is still actually a possibility for E9 Brotherhood to pick to deny from Nvision, but they're actually going to start off with a Morgana pick, which Shazen has had so much success on, and works really well against the Rakan because it stops him from being able to engage.
And just immediately go for the lock in there. I also want to point out that we saw yesterday that Infinity also lost playing the Karthus, but it was always banned away from him by Bulldog yesterday, so they never got a chance to play it. But I'm not too surprised, especially with Psyche's performance yesterday. Zed, though, really aggressive. Where is still the question of where this pick is going to go? Now, we know that Lina likes to play these aggressive, highly mechanical top laners, so I gotta suspect it goes there, as we also see the Civic getting picked up.
Yeah. All right, well, see what they're going to be taking as their final pick here. That Zed pick for 3z3. Very, very exciting. Gives us a little bit of action, that 1v1 potential as well. But, I mean, I still want to see the Soraka mid. I played it now. I love it. I want to see if someone's thinking about picking it up, but I feel like if you're Nvision and you're looking at something like a Morgana, a Kali, and a Jarvan, you probably don't want to be playing Soraka mid now. So they've also got the Zed as well.
Well, they also have the Zed
so
already.
I'm still going off Yoppa.
You really
no,
want it, right?
I'm going off Yoppa, man. At EU Masters, he was playing Zed top lane, and he's smashing people with that. So
I think it's likely to be
3Z3.
3Z3. It could be a flexible pick because Borrelia does like these highly mechanical champions. I doubt it too much. They will ban away the Soraka, most likely from the support. And that's the thing, is that you've picked up Morgana. E9 Brotherhood have shown, although it is technically a flex, they are the one, they play it in the bot lane. You do not want them to play sort of a ranged enchanter support, because that will give you such a lane advantage, especially when one of the big things with Morgana into an enchanter is she loses unless you can land a binding. But when you're up against a Sivir, there's no real possibility of that.
All right, well, that's that Karma ban as well. So you're talking about those kind of ranged enchanters being taken away here. What does that leave open for Nvision? What do you expect to see kind of get picked up as their next kind of high priority pick into this Morgana? Do they just go for something a little bit more skirmish heavy? take something that can make picks potentially?
I would still be happy with UK Meal Deal going for his Rakan. He's very good on it. And yes, the Black Shield can work against it in the early levels. But once you hit 6, you can charm multiple people. The Black Shield won't stop all of that. But it depends what he's comfortable playing in this matchup. You could play something like the Lulu if you wanted to just win out in terms of pressure. But I feel like I would rather see him on something proactive, especially when you have a Karthus on your team. So you're lacking engage in the jungle. I feel like you need someone to support.
What I also think is interesting is that this does mark a switch for Nvision, not in terms of the jungle, but we saw FreeZ3 play the Azir every single game yesterday. So the Zed already, to me, kind of says that we're not going to do that exact same thing again. And with the Vladimir being bent away, that part of the strategy was also taken. You see Dan Voxney now going for the Kai'Sa. I feel like, especially on 9.9 with Rageblade still unnerved, Kai'Sa is one of the strongest AD carries, and giving them Voxney a good AD carry is always going to remain threatening because he is such a core part of how E9 as well as they pick up the Mundo here.
Alrighty, so that's going to be for Borrelia. Now, what I think of Borrelia, I think more of kind of a carry-orientated top laner, someone who kind of styles on their enemy, but actually going in for the Mundo here as his top laner. I know what you were thinking. Maybe they go jungle.
Watch them swap it out and go for like Zed top, Karthus mid, and Mundo jungle. I don't expect that to happen. I mean, but it could.
I doubt it. Yeah,
I mean, it's Borrelia, right? But no, it's not going to happen.
The Zilean will come out, which is actually a pretty effective pick against Morgana because the bombs can just break that Black Shield. It is something that's been hovered a lot, and he's willing to play. Gives a lot of movement speed as well to his team. And when I think of a Mundo, a Zed, and a Sivir, that is a very, with the Zilean backing up, that's a very fast composition. Very hard to deal with. And now they are going to send that Jarvan into the top lane for E9. Will be that Akali mid lane, so a very hypey matchup. Zed into Akali, unless we could end up leaving the Jarvan in the mid. I do doubt it, but I guess we'll just have to wait and see where the things will end up.
All right, well, everything is being set in stone. Actually, Jarvan smashes Zed. I completely forgot about that. He actually, like, in early level, does like really well into him.
Yeah, I guess because in melee range, you just...
Yeah, because your martial cadence as well, you just out-trade him in the early stages. Obviously, if you take a full combo from Zed, Zed still has that burst ability, but, like, you're fairly mobile. But no, they do opt into the Akali. It's the more standard pick, but honestly, for a minute, I was like, they could do this.
Yeah,
like, just full AD Jarvan actually dunks on the Zed so hard. I mean, post 6 changes, but not going to happen because it's not what they picked, so we're going to change away from that. So I'm going to turn to you, my denim brother, and ask you what you think about coming into this picks and bats. Who are you favoring? What are you looking at here coming into this first game?
I gotta say, when I saw the Zed pick, I was like, okay, so you have the Karthus, which is your jungler that takes some time to really get rolling. Don't expect too much early impact there. But then the rest of the team is still very scaling. Zilean, early game really squishy. Once he gets more CDR, he becomes incredibly useful in the utility that he provides. And then also the Karthus, the Mundo top that early on is going to get bullied by the Jarvan, the Sivir. I feel like all of those picks are still kind of going into kind of a slower composition, whereas we know that E9, if you give them an inch in the early game, they're going to take it and they're just going to roll with it. And I think that the jungler, the Kazakhs pickup, does mean that is a little bit harder for them. Still, though, I'm kind of favoring E9 here because I feel like they have a lot more tools to, once they get ahead, engage on top of them with the Jarvan Cataclysm.
I mean, I think they have a lot of setup in the lanes. You know, you have the Jarvan in the top lane, easy to set up ganks for the Kazakhs, who provides the damage. In the mid lane, not so much, but the thing is you can bait the Zed in, and their 2v2 between the Kazakhs and the Akali is very strong. And bot lane, if Morgana lands a binding, say, onto the Zilean, it's easy setup. I feel like Nvision have done what they did yesterday. They've gone very scaling, and I think if, you know, it's what we talked about before. I think E9 have shown they can crush the early game. And the thing is, once again, it's not a situation where E9 have picked, you know, Pantheon and things and that are just going to scale off terribly. The Kazakhs are still going to be relevant late. The Akali is still going to be relevant late. The Kai'Sa is still going to be relevant late game. So yes, I feel like the scaling advantage is over Nvision, but I don't think they can just sit there and give the game to E9 Brotherhood, and that's why I'm going to favor them, because they've shown they are so aggressive. It's in their nature just to force early.
Well, ignoring just the champions that have been picked, let's look at the individual players here. What's kind of a lane to watch in this best of 3? We'll start with you, Orcs. Who are you excited about? What lane stands out to you?
Well, I think ignoring the champions completely, I think bot lane's got to be the big one for me, because Voxney and Shazian have been huge. But I mean, when it's a Sivir Zilean into Kai'Sa Morgana, it's not going to be the most interesting match. It's not the players, it's just the champions. Zed Akali is the matchup to watch this game. It has to be.
Alrighty, well, we load onto the Summoner's Rift for our first game of this final in a best of 3 between Nvision and E9 Brotherhood. The winner of this series will be walking and joining the rest of the teams on the UK LC for the summer split. The loser of this, they're not out. They have a lot to go for.
We saw an early or a late invade, rather. But this time, immediately go for it.
So late. They've got the bombs on. Spark slow. He's flashed away. Keiki jumps over the wall and first blood picked up on the Kaiser.
Oh, and Spark did not have an ability leveled, so saw the binding came, leveled the spell shield, but then wasn't in time to use it to block the binding. So a massive hit, because not only did you use your flash, but you died and you have spell shield level 1, which is the worst case scenario. Once again, E9 go for the late invade, and it pays off hugely.
It's not even a late invade, because last time they went in about 1:30. Now it's 40 seconds in, and they're already standing on top of them, and Nvision just caught and not ready to prepare. Also, mind you here, look at the summoner spells here, full infinity. He's gone exhaust Carthus here, just wanting a way to deal with Psyche and Vixen, and that's, I think, the first time I've ever seen that.
Yeah, and I mean, it means you don't have your flash, less mobility. If you are caught out, you are caught out more so. But the thing is with the Kha'Zix is he wants to go in, get in melee range and be able to burst you, but that exhaust is going to make it a lot more difficult. You're liable to take a lot of damage from the Carthus.
All right, well, we actually look at what Denvoxy was able to pick up from that kill. Just got a longsword, so does mean that that build you were talking to me about, Orcs, this new Kaiser build, actually maybe not going to be able to come through as none of those first two items actually builds off a longsword.
Yeah, really disappointing. I'd have loved to have seen it, but...
Have we seen it yet? No, we haven't.
No, we haven't.
not.
Have you talked about it yet? Would you like
He hasn't
to?
spoiled yet.
I haven't delved into it. I feel like I want to keep the suspense. A lot of people probably are aware of it now. It is growing in popularity, but... You know, I'll leave it as a mystery for now.
What's interesting here to me as well is that with Infinity, of course, he is Carthus, so he starts his own blue buff. But that does mean that he is probably going to meet Psyche, went for a full clear topside at his bot side Scuttle, because we are on 9.9, meaning we have the 315 Scuttle. And this could lead to a situation in which Psyche is just able to pick up an early double Scuttle and to not leave a lot of room for Infinity to really do anything about that.
I mean, the thing is as well is that E9's bot lane has priority. They will be able to move first, and that exhaust is almost useless against 3 people.
Oh, Vixen just flashes in, throws the ignite down, trying to find first blood, trying to find the kill. It's just a 1-for-1 in the mid lane. What?
What a back and forth. Vixen goes very aggressive, did not have the energy or the cooldown for Q, I believe, but now Psyche caught out.
Psyche has been caught out. Infinity's looking for him. He's got
No
him
flash,
isolated.
remember?
That exhaust has already been used, and now they're chasing him down. The rest of the team flash in, and Infinity finds the kill. Psyche gonna pick that up.
Yeah, and crucially, there was no flash for Psyche, used it in the invade. Wasn't actually needed because Spark died before he got over the wall, and will pay for it with his life there.
So, did I just miss the leap, or did he go onto the golems with leap?
He left onto the golems and leap, and then he suddenly found the Carthus and went, oh,
this is not great.
This isn't where I parked my car.
So, I gotta say, the early aggression already coming out from E9 here. Take a look at his replay where Vixen just flashes on top, tanks 2 turret shots, and then I think that flash from Freeze is crucial there as well.
Yeah.
Because otherwise he doesn't get the kill.
I think the big thing was that when Vixen went in, didn't have the energy, but we'll just talk about this. We do see Psyche jumps over, but was on a ward. At this point, no flash, no leap. There's no way you're getting out. No way you kill Infinity with the exhaust on you. But I mean, that's the crucial thing, is that when Vixen flashed in, needed, I think, 10 or 20 energy before he could use the Q to finish off 3Z3, or at least get enough damage so the ignite would. And that's crucially what allowed him to turn it around. But a lot of pressure coming out already and so much action.
And who does this favor? Because we look at like a Carthus, and like the ganking potential from the Carthus onto the likes of an Akali is pretty hard. But you've got the fight breaking out in the top lane, actually. I might have to hold this point as Borrelia. 1v1, he gets the flash forward. Oh, Borrelia outplays him in the minion wave.
Yeah, the auto reset coming in huge there. Played for space, and Lina feeling confident but gets caught out by the Mundo. Really solid play, and not how you want this matchup to go, because if this Mundo gets tanky early, he'll become nigh on unkillable for the Jarvan.
And I gotta say, like you say, the auto attack reset, also the extra damage you get from the masochism because you are so low, just absolutely smash people down. And Lina had flash available there as well.
The thing as well is that Lina got baited in, but with Jarvan, your damage is front loaded. Your passive, when you apply it, does a lot, and then your combo is going to provide damage. but you will start to fade later on. And now he's actually in trouble again.
Unit now using that flash, but one more cleaver to the back of the head. And Borrelia, I'm sorry, mate. I said you were a carry. You are definitely carrying 2-0 on that Mundo.
That is not what you want to see in any game. In a matchup like this, though, the Mundo, who wants to scale up and be stronger later on, is already dominating in the 1v1.
And you know how Mundo, if he gets ahead early, he can achieve that raid boss level where he just runs in, tanks a lot, and he actually does a lot of damage. Got a couple of buffs, recent patches as well, where his Masochism and his Cleavers just got tuned up just a little bit. And then if you can't chew for him, late game then Voxney is going to be fine. He's going to shred, but it's going to take so long.
Oh, the flash in by Sizen. They get themselves the chains down. They're trying to find that root. UK Mill Deal will fall here. As Sizen's able to find that kill. Now, Denvoxney forced to run away. They've got Infinity to work with. He's not quite level 6. Looking for the binding as Denvoxney will go down. Infinity picks that one up. Sizen takes the auto attack reset, and Infinity comes in huge. It's a 2-for-1 in favor of Nvision.
And E9's bot lane gets punished, and we do actually see a solo 1v1 again where both mid laners die. They're just trading 1-for-1 as much as they can.
What is happening mid?
These
guys are so equally matched. They die at the same time every time.
Well, I think Vixen is trying to make the plays, but tends to get a bit too close to 3z3's tower and then just ends up trading his life for it. But at the end of the day, if you're trading 1-for-1, it's not too bad for either party. Just extra gold income for these mid laners.
I gotta say that I feel like this favors Nvision, and that is mostly as UK Meal Deal can't afford to get caught here again.
Taking a few auto attacks.
Yeah. They're just binding and he's all fine. But I feel like this favors Nvision, specifically if you look at who the Galt is on. Because Dan Voxney, besides that early kill, wasn't really able to find him beside the CS advantage, where it's Infinity and Brelia. And if those two get ahead, a Karthus, who's able to build up an early lead, is so oppressive. And I feel like this top lane, like you said, is pretty much over, because I don't think you're ever going to chew through the Mundo, especially with his ultimate. And you're just playing Jarvan, right? Like, it's not like you're going to scale well into that matchup.
No, and I feel like if you ult the Mundo, he's just going to say, well, okay, we're trapped in here together. I think he wins that one out in the melee range, and you know, should just be able to farm up safely, but has to be careful not to flag in, because I think he'll just die if he does.
And here's actually the really interesting thing is, with this newer build we're talking about, but you're not revealing on the Kai'Sa, I actually think Denvoxney should be able to kill Borrelia at that raid level boss because of the passive on Kai'Sa, and because you, with the build, you get a lot more AP, so you actually do start to proc off on those void stacks, but do the health % damage, but can cut through these tanks.
Yeah.
So actually might have been the optimal build here, but
I will say though, Psyche.
UK Mildew, he's just gone.
Dead, yeah. Ult comes down, but pretty wasted, to be honest. Ocean picked up, and this is a good dragon for E9. It's going to help with the early presence, and so I was going to say, I feel like the Storm Razor is the better early build, but Denvoxney, it doesn't matter for him now if he gets caught out.
He got the ult. Okay, he looks to go for the assassination, forced to flash away. The death mark lands onto him, and Freezy Free launches in, and goes Denvoxney though. They found one, they found two, three members of E9 go down. They get one in return, but it's just going so right for Nvision in this bot lane.
16 kills in just over 8 minutes. These teams are out for blood, and they are not stopping.
And the big thing here for me is that I'm really impressed by what we see from EJBY Brotherhood, in that they, even though they're fairly behind, they keep making these proactive plays, right? We've seen a lot of cases where teams, once they kind of fall behind, stop doing anything, stop contesting. But then the punish from Nvision is amazing. Take a look at the replay here. And like you said, Ox, once again, exact same situation. Vixen just goes in and, no, your Shroud does not drop turret aggro anymore, unfortunately. As he gets taken down.
You say unfortunately, I say fortunately.
It's better. Yeah.
Oh,
it's all about perspective.
Unfortunately for Vixen, though, I imagine he'd be pretty happy if he got out there.
I was playing the hell out of Akali during that stage, and Aurelia, to be fair. And even I was like, this is so overtuned. This is terrible.
This is not okay.
This is not fun for anyone involved. Well, it's fun for me.
And I got to say, the Karthus here, we saw how well Psyche did yesterday. And I can't imagine that we're going to see that come through pick and ban again, because Infinity has been able to lay so much damage down. And E9 early on, when they're taking the Ocean Drake, it's just a Requiem in of itself. But when it gets combined with a tanky Brelia, with a 3z3 who, even though he's not ahead of his laner, he has so much gold pumped into him that he's still going to be able to absolutely shred everyone who comes close to him.
I mean, I just feel like it's going to be so difficult for E9 to teamfight, because if you try and kill any target, there is the Zillion ult to revive them. And then on top of that, the Carthage you have to kill twice, and All In comes in here.
Isn't it? And the Death Mark's coming down. They haven't quite found the assassination off as Freezy3 will go down. They finally get the kill in the mid lane without losing a life.
Frustrating matchup because he went to use the ult to find the damage, but the invisibility from both Psyche and Vixen meant he couldn't follow up. The shurikens didn't connect. And the ult from Carthage essentially wasted in that scenario.
Solid push though in the bot lane here, starting to cost some serious plating. As we do start to take a look at what the gold lead is looking like. It's 3k up in favor of Nvision for the moment, and then Voxney can do nothing but watch as the bombs are just zoning them off the turret. This might just be first turret blood right here.
I mean, this is what happens when you pick Morgana into a caster, especially when it's Sivir against Kai'Sa. There's so much more shove on that side, so much more lane pressure. And then Voxney and Chasen, there's not a ton they can do, because even if they manage to find a Miracle Binding, there's the spell shield from Spark, and if they land it on the Zillion, he has the ult which can bring him back to life. Not an ideal situation to be in, and now I feel like this tower is seconds away from death.
We also can't undersell how much impact Infinity has in his lane, because every time they step forward, like here, you know they want to go for it, but you know that Infinity is there, and every single 3v3 or gank that they've had on bot side has worked out well for Nvision, meaning that traditionally we see Dan Voxney get ahead early. He snowballs that, but I gotta say, Nvision is really, really diligent in making sure that that exact scenario is avoided.
Well, Vixen now going to get the death mark on. The flash over the walls. They come in to try and get that assassination off. Can't quite do so. Infinity's running away. The tower falls in the bot lane as E9 disengage here from that mid lane skirmish.
Yeah, 3z3 really didn't have the damage to find a kill there, but Infinity is so scary right now. He zones off Vixen and Psyche single-handedly. They do not want to tango with this Carthus right now.
3-0-3. Just dirty. Vixen not got the Gunblade finished up yet, so doesn't have quite the sustain you need. Well, the Ghost Blade and double longsword for 3z3. This Zed is starting to hit a bit like a truck at this point.
We saw that there as well. It's just using the Shroud, getting the Electrocute proc already does so much damage. And once you're getting low on health, the Zed passive does so much in just cleaning up any kills. And still, I gotta say, I'm really impressed with the fact that Vixen is able to continuously find those kills, but it's not really getting him anything. And they haven't been able to make the kills that he's able to pick up matter in any of the other lanes. Now we see the lane swap come through, and Brelia, I think, is going to be fine 1v2 here.
Yeah, I don't think there's too much threat from Denvox and Shazian. I feel like you can land the binding, you can ult to follow up, but I don't even think you kill him through that. He is almost invincible at this point. And actually, they might potentially be looking for a play if Psyche comes as well. That might provide enough damage to take him down. Remember, they have to burst him before the ult gets all that healing out. Brelia just need to be wary of this.
Has got the sadism, no flash available.
Really scared.
Ninja Tabbies as well, though, will make it a little bit harder for Psyche, and then Vox needs to actually fully assassinate him when he's got that Sunfire Cape as well. But they are just getting plates after plates here as the binding does land. He takes a fair chunk of damage, but can just pop out when he needs to. The plating in the top lane is also going fairly low. A good shove from Nvision. They're just answering out here, equalizing what E9 are doing in the bot lane, but to the top side.
Should be a trade of turrets here. I feel like Brelia is kind of scared off now. He knows that Psyche's Kha'Zix is in the area, having picked up that Drake. I feel like you have to be wary of a dive. So I think they're just going to trade towers. In normal circumstances, I would say this favors E9 because they are behind, but Nvision really are making the most of the scaling if they get this momentum going this soon.
Nvision are, they're up on the tempo there. They took the plate first as Vixen looking for this assassination off into 3z3, throws out the ulti, gets the death mark off, has that perfect execution, goes the wrong way! The outplay by 3z3 is huge as he dodges out and secures the kill for his team as they turn their eyes towards this Rift Herald now. What a play!
Yeah, Vixen just did not have the read on the Shadow. Great ult to throw in the wrong direction, and the ult from Carthus wasn't even needed, but there to make sure that Vixen goes down.
Just guaranteed, and while that was happening, you also pick up a Rift Herald, meaning that even though the plates are dropped, you're going to be able to pick up that mid lane turret. It's going to give you so much more map control. And the scary thing for me is that we commended E9 for the early game. Now, they don't have a scaling or a composition that doesn't scale at all, but when you look at Nvision's comp and you realize which members are ahead, Spark, already having Yessen's Reef, is going to shred through turrets. Infinity with the Requiem is going to be able to just always be there whenever it's necessary. And Brelia can tank so much that a 4k gold deficit, and I got to say that it feels to me like E9, they came in after kind of a high from the games yesterday where they're able to just completely demolish. And the early game, we saw some of the overextensions that we saw from them yesterday as well. And I think they really need to look at that and either fix this game, and if not, definitely the next.
Binding goes a little bit wide.
Psyche's looking for it.
He's gone invisible. Psyche trying to find that execution off, but can't make it work. The bomb's not going to find their marker now. Psyche goes invisible again, looks for the slow, not going to find it as UK Mildew slows him down. Vixen low HP. Every time we look in this lane, Vixen's low.
Though 3Z3 used its ult, actually seen an engage here.
There's going to be the chrono shift onto UK Mildew. They don't want to kill him right now as the binding goes a little bit wide. UK Mildew will be able to walk away. The chrono shift saves his life.
But just as I was saying, the ult and ignite was used in that last trade by 3Z3. Vixen still has his ult available, and it's going to heal up off the wave from that Gunblade, so he could potentially look for an all-in here. And I think for once he might come out without dying for it.
We'll have to track that because that Requiem is also coming up fairly soon. The Death Mark as well. So Vixen does need to be a little careful because there is that attempt for just that instant burst.
I think 3Z3 is the one being careful now. He respects the fact that Vixen has his ult available. He knows the 1v1 would not go in his favor. Does have his Death Mark coming up soon though. But even so, half HP, the sustain from Akali coming in huge in this side lane.
And I also feel like Brelia, because he was able to get out early, there's simply no threat whatsoever from Lina trying to kill him. And even with a killer instinct, you can try and set up these side lane plays against something like the Mundo because he has no escapes. But you can't do that because it's going to take so much time if you even get through him. As Psyche, you're really on the wrong side.
Though, gets instantly exhausted. Vixen tries to find the assassination off. Kaiki is going to go low. They found one already. These 1-for-1 trade. As the Requiem comes down, Vixen will be burst through and Nvision find 2.
That is a lot of damage on that Requiem. Looked like Vixen was going to try and make the play and get a second kill on 3Z3, but the damage was there to take him out. Crucially though, they do get a big shutdown from that Karthus and a tower in the mid lane, but Shazen
Shazen has to go golden. Denvoxney trying to pump that damage out for his team. As Shazen uses the black shield. The chains are already broken. The bombs are on. The flash out. Denvoxney tries to get that assassination off. He goes in with the killer instinct. Gets the res onto 1. But the minions are doing so much work. Flashing away from the bomb. And Spark takes him down. A 2 for 0 mid as Borrelia finds onto Leona. But just going to step away.
Yeah, just over-aggression there. Shazen steps up too far, gets punished, and then they forget about the Zillion ult. They try and commit to find the kill, but then Voxney only trades for a resurrection, and 2 kills come out for the Nvision bot lane.
We haven't really seen E9 play from behind. That's something that they need to do here because of those early aggressive plays that didn't really work out the way they wanted. As we see finally the Rift Herald having a little bit of a tough time there, eventually finds its way past the turrets.
That's the flag drag. Cataclysm comes down. The bombs are there. They've already got one shut down as Lina flashes away, but FreeZ3 follows up with the shadows. Look on the flank. Mundo goes where Mundo pleases. He is running into size, and a great black shield will block out some of the slow. And now they're going to get a charge off on this Rift Herald. This might just be another turret going down in favor here as Denvoxney actually gets a bit of a chunk to the face.
Yeah, but the tower will go down. Rift Herald should get another charge off here. E9. Have to watch. Actually, I think they took it out. I think they took it out before it hit. We didn't quite see, but they will head towards the Mountain Dragon. A big one to secure, because with a Mundo on your team, you can essentially tank a Baron indefinitely. And with 2 AD champions who can auto-attack, and then the Karthus with so much single-target damage, they take that Baron very fast.
That's the Death Mark already been used. They're looking for that stun as Vixen can just chase up, gets himself the assassination this time off. Now Borrelia looking to run him down. UK Mildew is also about no Shroud, no slow, no Shuriken flip available. The binding does find its mark, and now Vixen is running away as the Boomerang Blade chasing him down. No flash available for him. They've got everything to work with. Vixen goes down, and it's a 1-for-1 in the extended fight.
Yeah, that ult from Karthus just securing his fate. It does so much damage. You can see on the members of E9 still alive. Almost half HP just from the Karthus ult. So difficult to make any plays when that ability is available because it just turns things in the favor of Nvision.
And I think E9, they gotta find a miracle opportunity here. Either because we see that Vixen can consistently get these assassinations, but that they can't follow up on it, right? And I think that that is something that they need to figure out. Either find another one and then try to snowball into an objective or into a team fight, because they straight up 5v5. I don't think you're ever going to win with the amount of damage available with the Karthus, the Zed who can assassinate someone, and Spark who's currently 4-1-6. So he'll take that little CS disadvantage because he's still going to be able to do so much team-wide damage. And then as you look at E9, the tankiest Mamba is probably going to be Lina, and he's just working with a Titanic Hydra and a Kindle Gem.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, honestly, he's going to go down so quickly in team fights. I feel like the person who will survive longer is Vixen with the Shroud and the Zhonyas, but even then, it's only a limited amount of survivability, and that card assault is going to hurt everyone on the team in V9. No one's going to be able to shrug it off. And I feel like Mundo is just going to soak so much damage in these team fights. It's not going to be viable for them to find 5v5s. They need to find picks. They need to find skirmishes with a number advantage if they want to get back in this game. But 6k goal behind at 20 minutes.
Vixen gets spotted out by UK Mildil. Bomb's not going to find its mark. Both of these teams playing around this, but you can see the top laners with their teleports in that bot side of the map. Looking just for a bit of a split push for the moment, but multiple members of Nvision are in this mid lane, shoving this up for the moment.
Yeah, and they do want to shove the mid lane up, then rotate to the Baron area. They start applying some control, but that is the goal now. Baron is available, and they want to ensure they have the pressure there.
And I gotta say, coming out as the second seed, having such a dominating performance here in game number 1, and Vision gotta be pretty good.
It was Infernal Dragon on Mountain.
It was Infernal.
I was
Pranked us.
I was going crazy.
How could you do that, Oaks?
Yeah, I pranked you. I was just testing, but it is an Infernal, which I'd argue is even worse for E9 because all those stats are going to be very useful for everyone in Nvision.
Oh, the Rabadon's finished now as well for Infinity. If you think he did damage before,
it's gonna be rough.
it's not gonna be good. You guys
rough.
can't see Jake's face, but he's not looking happy right now.
I mean, Vixen now has the stopwatch, so that's good. He can block out the Requiem, he can block out the Death Mark proc if they're layered at the wrong timing. So there is actually potential for Vixen to not turbo into the fight.
And then the rest of the team?
Well, Denvoxne has a stopwatch, and that's about it. So they are very limited in what they can do. It's definitely Nvision who are in control here, and that Karth assault just a moment away, it would cause so much pressure. Like, he has to be a bit careful.
It's
The
like
Mundo
he's
can
forced to
just
run
chase
away.
him.
They have cleavers for days. He's going to use the ulti to go golden for the moment and just jump away. Now, Denvoxne on that flank. Throws out the Void Seeker, but look at Vixen on the flank, the flag and drag. They're looking for Spark. The assassination could potentially come down as Vixen finds it. Denvoxne jumps into the backline. One quick kill being picked up here for E9. Now Borrelia is still a raid boss. Denvoxne finds himself another one. Infinity goes down. They are melting through absolutely everyone. It's a world first raid boss for E9. A double kill has been picked up in return. And E9 hold fast.
Crucially, 3z3 was not there in the team fight, and then the aggro switching was great. Lina engages on UK Mealdale, forces the ult on himself, then they instantly switch to Spark, take him off the map, and crucially, Karthus couldn't ult when there's all these enemies around him. He had to wait till such a late point where E9 had already won the team fight. The ult still did a ton of damage, but by that point, E9 had hard won.
He still gets a double kill, so I'd say that they're not too unhappy. But I think that, like you're right, if you're E9 now, you're going to take this even trade, and it's just going to progress the game to a point where the further you get into this game, the less that gold disadvantage is going to matter.
I mean, one thing is they traded a kill up, but also there was a massive shutdown on Spark. And so, yes, they're now 5k goal behind, so they've closed the gap by 1,000, but they are definitely back in this game, and they've shown if they can find the right flank, they can win the team fights. So Nvision have to be a lot more careful, because if that happens again, Baron could be on the cards for E9.
And I'm loving the itemization as we see that Denvoxne is going to go for that Zhonya's next, just trying to go for the mixed damage to not only shred through the Mundo faster, but also have a surefire way to make sure that Infinity doesn't guarantee kill you every single team fight.
Useful lens him, and if 3z3 does join the team fight this time, will be effective.
Which probably should
against
happen.
him. How you'd hope for Nvision.
All right, well, 25 minutes on the clock. This goal lead still in favor of Nvision. We do start to take stock of what items are being picked up, what everyone's sitting on. That death cap still on Infinity's, working towards the Morellonomicon. You've now got the Rage Blade and the Storm Razor and the Zhonyas picked up for Denvoxne. So now double Zhonyas that Nvision have to work through, and it does start to make it harder, but blue buff gets picked up from Nvision, and they're actually just going straight in onto this. Kind of catching E9 off.
TP's there. 6,000 HP Psyche's here, and a Kha'Zix is great at stealing, but they're looking for the
They get
fight.
themselves the dunk into 3 members caught inside the pit. The bombs don't find a mark. The redemption healing everybody up. The chains are on. 1 kill already been picked up for Nvision as Denvoxny goes back with the ulti, tries to get the assassination off, but this fight is all in Nvision's favor. Shizen runs away. Vixen tries to jump in for the assassination. He's going to go down. The Requiem just doing so much work, and it's the full ace for Nvision.
Just a messy fight from E9. I'm not sure what the call was there. They engaged before the Baron started to go down. I feel like maybe the steal would have been the better call, but when they go for the fight, they end up coming from the Baron side. They're taking a ton of damage from the Baron, and crucially, Denvoxny got split, wasn't able to do much, had to Zhonya's instantly, and then went down to the combined focus of Spark and 3Z3.
And I love the engage from Lina there as he traps 3 people inside the Cataclysm. But the problem is there's no follow-up damage. Psyche tries to go in here, but look at Denvoxny, look at Vixen. None of them are doing any damage on that group of 3 clumped up people. And like you say, Denvoxny just has to use everything just to try and stay alive.
The difference between this team fight and the last one was the last one they managed to kill Spark almost instantly. But there was so much split focus, he survived, and then all the other members ended up surviving. Remember, if you don't take him out quickly, Zilean will still have the ult available to bring him back to life, and it just felt like the same pressures in that last team fight wasn't on Spark. He was able to survive, and that Requiem just sealed the fate of E9.
Well, looks like they're going to be even speedier around the map now as they got that Cloud Drake to work with. Getting harder and harder here for E9 to pull this win. You got to remember, since heading into the relegation section of the tournament, both of these teams haven't dropped a game. They are 2-0 in the relegation promotion stage of the Forge of Champions, so...
Yeah, well, I believe even in the... Oh, we do see Vixen going for a skirmish here.
2-man off, does have the ability to dodge back with the perfect execution, and tries to find the assassination off, does force someone away, but it's just...
I believe even in the round that was off stream, E9 were undefeated, so this will be their first loss coming out here if it keeps going in this direction.
The Requiem is going to get...
Ooh, through the black shield?
Sorry, what? What?
I mean, that is Rabadon's Void Staff level 16 Karthus.
He's got the Dark Seal fully stacked as well.
You know what I love? Is that we said Infinity, you don't have Flash, you have Exhaust. He doesn't need it, Flash. He kills everyone who comes close, and even if you're not close, he blows you up in a split second.
That's nuts. Oh my lord, he's just actually smurfing right now on this. Like you said, we might not see this into game 2, but game 1 is looking to end here for Nvision as the bombs land in. A 4-man Cataclysm. They might try to turn right here. Denvoxny jumps out of the fight. He has to go golden. Vixen's low as well. These members just melt as they try to find more. A double kill picked up onto the Z. Shizen has himself a black shield, tries to tank some damage, but the tower is going to go down. The Nexus will be laid bare, and Nvision find themselves their first win in the promotional stage of the tournament.
Yeah, and hand their first defeat to E9, and they're that much closer to getting in the UKLC.
And for me, this was about both Nvision playing incredibly well early on and making such good use of the over-aggression that we've seen from E9 before, not allowing Denvoxny to snowball, which was really big, as Infinity paid so much attention to the bot lane. And Brilliant versus Lina, because we talked about Lina and how he's these mechanical, intensive, really skilled player. But Brilliant on the Mundo just literally cleaves him down.
Mundo smash.
And yeah, Mundo did smash. And this is also, never seen Aurelia ever be allowed to, or be given rather, to Nvision, because Brilliant they can't give it to him, ever.
And that's a difficult thing. If they can't handle his Mundo, they can't handle his Vladimir, they can't handle his Aurelia, you know, what? Do you just ban all 3 of his champions?
I think the Mundo, it was also a surprise effect. I think that you're not that confident with the matchup. You have the Jarvan, which doesn't work that well if you don't get an early lead. But still, credit to Nvision because they played the game out really cleanly from there as well.
I mean, they played very, very well. I mean, you got the Karthus fed. I don't think we're going to see that in the next game.
No.
I feel that has to be a ban.
Well, I think the decision that I would make is E9 go to blue side and they try and get the Karthus first pick, or at least force Nvision to ban it away, and that does free up something for their side. Because remember, they banned 2 AD carries from Denvoxny, so that did limit his champion pool pretty significantly. So I think if they forced E9 Brotherhood to ban that Karthus, maybe they could free up something with a bit more impact in the lane than that Kai'Sa, because really they just weren't able to find as much impact as we'd hoped.
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 Well, with that does obviously mean that Nvision are 1-0 up, but it's still a best of 3. There's still a chance for E9 to bounce back. They do have to shore up some of these mistakes that were made in that first game, because we criticized how, you know, Nvision kind of play for the later stages of the game, but they were playing early. They were playing on E9's turf, man, and they just gave it to them.
Yeah, absolutely. They played the early game with the scaling composition. They came out so strong and, you know, deserved game 1 win. And it's going to be difficult because now, sure, E9 won't be out of the tournament if they lose this next game, but it's going to be a massive hit if they don't win this series, especially when they were the first seed, were the favorites coming in.
And yeah, I'm really curious as to whether or not they can bounce back, because if you want to get into UKLC, you need to be able to take these little losses and still turn it around.
Oh, we'll have to see if they can turn it around, because we're going to cut to a quick break, and when we're back with game 2 of this series, so don't go anywhere. See you in a second.